Breaking news tonight. A blockbuster ABC News investigation reveals top Trump administration officials are actively pressuring federal prosecutors to bring criminal charges against New York Attorney General Letitia James for mortgage fraud, despite a 5-month investigation that has failed to produce clear evidence of any crime. Sources tell ABC News that when federal prosecutors recently declined to indict James, Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Pulte encouraged President Trump to fire the U.S. attorney handling the case and replace him with someone willing to bring charges. We're talking about firing a federal prosecutor specifically because he won't manufacture a case against a political opponent. The pressure campaign is being led by Ed Martin, who heads the DOJ's Weaponization Working Group, and Bill Pulte. Both have been pushing for an indictment despite investigators interviewing over a dozen witnesses and finding no clear evidence that James knowingly made false statements to secure favorable mortgage terms. The entire case hinges on a single document, a power of attorney form that incorrectly listed James' Virginia home as her primary residence. But investigators found this document was never even considered by loan officers who approved the mortgage. Every other document correctly stated she wouldn't live there. Ed Martin's behavior has been particularly troubling. He posed for photos outside James' Brooklyn home in a Columbo-style trench coat and posted them on social media, a stunt so inappropriate that Attorney General Pam Bondi herself rebuked him. The timing is crucial. James successfully prosecuted Trump in civil court last year for business fraud. A New York judge concluded Trump committed a decade of fraud, initially ordering nearly $500 million in fines. Now, less than a month into Trump's presidency, we're seeing what critics call systematic retaliation against the prosecutor who held him accountable. Bill Pulte has been explicit about this connection, telling Fox News, "She was a fraudster, not President Trump. This isn't about justice. It's about revenge." James' attorney has called this the next salvo in President Trump's revenge tour, while sources reveal similar mortgage fraud allegations are being pursued against other Democratic officials, including Senator Adam Schiff and Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. The investigation has reportedly exposed significant cracks within DOJ leadership and raised fresh concerns about political retribution. Sources tell ABC News that senior DOJ leadership believes Martin will be unable to prove any allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. Yet the pressure campaign continues with Trump's backing. What's particularly troubling is how Martin has been recruiting attorneys for what he calls his Special Attorney Fraud Unit. In recruitment emails titled Help Wanted, he's asking DOJ lawyers to be fighters for justice and goodness and the American way. But then, in a moment of what can only be called stunning irony, Martin quoted former Attorney General Robert Jackson's famous warning that prosecutors going after people they dislike is the greatest danger of abuse of prosecuting power. The implications of the story extend far beyond Letitia James. If federal prosecutors can be pressured or fired for refusing to bring baseless cases against political opponents, we're looking at the fundamental corruption of American justice. This isn't about Republican versus Democrat. It's about whether we have a justice system based on evidence and law, or one based on political loyalty and revenge. Federal prosecutors have a sacred duty to follow the evidence wherever it leads, not to manufacture cases to satisfy political masters. When a 5-month investigation with 15 witnesses can't produce evidence of criminal intent, that should be the end of the story. Instead, we're seeing unprecedented pressure to ignore the facts and indict anyway. This story is still developing, and we're monitoring for any response from the White House, which declined to comment to ABC News. The Justice Department and Federal Housing Finance Agency have also not responded to requests for comment, but the implications are already clear. We're witnessing what may be the most serious challenge to prosecutorial independence in modern American history. The question now is whether career federal prosecutors will stand firm against this political pressure, or whether we'll see the justice system bent to serve political revenge. For Letitia James, who successfully held a former president accountable under law, the stakes couldn't be higher. But for American democracy itself, the stakes are even greater. We'll continue following this story as it develops, because the integrity of our justice system may hang in the balance.